Good morning everyone. My name is Angela Cannaway and I am based on the Children with Disabilities team in the Craigavon and Banbridge locality of the Southern Trust. And I am joined this morning by Ethna and McKenna, who is also based on the Children with Disabilities team but in the Newry and Mourne locality. And Ethna and I are both here this morning to tell you about a service improvement project that was completed back in April 2015 by all of the social workers within the Children with Disabilities service. And there was also two students worked along with us who were on placement with the Armand and Ghana Children with Disabilities team. And our project is around enhancing disabled children's participation in the looked after children's process. Now, to put our project into context for you, within the Southern Trust there are 3 Children with Disabilities teams. There's one based in Armagh, one in Craigavon and one in Newry. And within each of these localities, services can be provided to children with a disability and their parents and carers in a variety of different ways. But for the purposes of our project, we focused mainly upon overnight short breaks provided through one of the residential facilities in each of the 3 localities. So there's Cannaway in Newry, there is Oaklands in Armagh, and there is Willow Grove in Banbridge. And as many of you here today will know, that children who are cared for away from home overnight, that those children are then subject to the looked after children's review process. So why did we undertake this project? Well, back in April 2015 at a Children with Disabilities team social work event, discussion was had about the need to further promote children and young people's participation in their looked after children's review. And this is supported through the good practice guidelines issued within the Children and Young People's Directorate in 2009 in relation to enhancing children and young people's participation in their LAC review meetings and case conferences. And so our service improvement initiative was launched, and that was to review current practice within the teams and to undertake an audit of the methods used by social workers to engage with children and to gather their views. And really, our review highlighted that social workers were somewhat hindered by the lack of appropriate child-friendly resources available to them to assist them to capture children with disabilities' views. It was hoped that from the work that Ethna and I completed, that it would result in a range of different tools being developed to assist the social work staff in communicating more effectively with children and young people and to empower them to have their views heard at their LAC review. And it was agreed that to undertake this review, information would be collected from the social workers under the following headings: the child's ability to make a contribution, the methods of communication and contribution used, and if the child regularly contributed to their LAC review. So initially this provided baseline information that within the Southern Trust there are 105 children with a disability known to the looked after process, and the pie chart breaks that down into the various localities. There are 27 children in the Craigavon and Banbridge locality, 37 in Armagh and 41 in Newry. So as already mentioned, social workers within the 3 Children with Disabilities teams were spoken to individually, and information was gathered from them regarding the children and young people that they work with. And it became evident very quickly that the majority of children and young people's views were collated using the social worker's observation of the child or young person within their placement, feedback from the staff in the facilities, and discussion with parents and carers. And again, the bar chart breaks that down in relation to the 105 children known to the LAC process. That 66 children's views were collated through social work observation, 4 children provided a written contribution, and 35 children made their views known verbally about staying away from home. So after the baseline information was gathered, the current contribution forms used by the social workers to engage with children and young people were reviewed, and it was found that they were really dated and no longer fit for purpose. And this then resulted in the need to develop a new range of child-friendly resources for the social workers to work with. So as a direct result of the work that Ethna and I completed, we developed a range of different tools suitable to all the various ability levels of the children and young people known to our service. And those included a photo album of each of the facilities, one for Cannaway, one for Willow Grove and one for Oaklands. We purchased arts and craft kits for each of the social work locality offices. We also purchased I'll Go First toolboxes, and to explain that a little bit, I'll Go First is a set of storyboards and stickers which cover everyday situations which are relevant to the child and young person's life. And the social workers can use those to engage or initiate conversations with the child, or to develop a visual record of the child or young person's thoughts and feelings, which can then be used in the LAC review. And as we all know, children love using computers, and one of the benefits of the I'll Go First pack is that it's also available on an interactive CD-ROM. We also created All About Me workbooks and your views and experience questionnaires for the young people. And really, they were created specifically for each of the individual units as well, and they're a very colourful and child-friendly resource which can be completed by the child with or without the help of the social worker. All of these, I suppose the forms cover things like the child or young person's likes or dislikes, the routines that is completed within each of the units, and any of the sort of activities that they like or don't like to do. And these forms are available as Word documents and have been uploaded onto the iPads. And there was money sourced by our head of service to purchase 3 iPads for each of the social work teams. So these can be uploaded onto the iPad, but unfortunately, as they weren't purchased through, I suppose, the traditional channels, they were purchased independently. They're therefore not encrypted, and unfortunately, we do at this point in time still require additional support from IT to make the iPads that we can use them to their full potential. So thank you very much. I'm now going to hand over to Ethna, who's going to finish off this morning by further explaining to you the benefits of our project.
Thank you, Angela. This project has been successful over many levels. Social workers now have a range of resources available to assist them with children and young people in relation to ascertaining their views and their experience within short breaks. These new tools are appropriate to communicate with children across the varying levels of abilities. We now have evidence that these new tools are in use, and that social workers preparing to meet children in relation to feedback about short breaks are considering which of these tools are most appropriate, whether it's the CD-ROM from the I'll Go Tool First kit or indeed the All About Me booklet. We also are aware that there is an increased number of children now attending their looked after reviews. Working together across the 3 teams in this project, we believe that we've been able to standardise and improve our social work practice. Social workers were always supportive of this project and could see the benefits for children and young people. And they contributed fully with requests for information, hence there was no resistance or delay in this project. This piece of work also links in with the Trust strategy for PPI, public and personal involvement, in that we are gathering the views of children and young people read the delivery of our service. Children have a voice. We need to continue to listen. We want to know what's good about our service, what needs to remain the same, and indeed what might need to change in the future. The project, we believe, also links in with the new social work strategy, in that we've made an improvement in the provision of social work service, and that we've also been able to build on the trust that we already have with children, young people, their families, as well as across the profession. We hope that this is a good news story and that we've made a meaningful contribution to the lives of the children and young people with whom we work. And just before we finish, we'd like to share some quotes from children and from social workers in relation to using the new tools. The first from children in relation to the All About Me booklet. One young person said, "It's fun, I really like the colours and the smiley faces." And in relation then to the CD-ROM from the I'll Go First toolkit, "Using the computer is cool and it helps me to tell my story." Quotes from social workers then, again about the All About Me booklet. "The young person understood that the All About Me booklet represented her views in relation to short breaks. The young person had ownership of the booklet and appeared very proud of the content." From another social worker, and this is in relation to the photograph album, "It was amazing to see a child with limited verbal communication express their views using facial expressions when shown the photograph album." We'd like to thank you all for listening. Should anybody like any additional information, we're available out in the main foyer at the stand, and we have some of our resources available if anybody would like to look through them. Thanks again to everybody. Thank you.